What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is what if Lawrence, because this is a bold statement, told you America is a small country.
I think we'd laugh.
I think we would laugh. Compared to like Earth, maybe. Yeah. I guess it's small. Like if you compared it against the whole of Earth, I don't know, I have no clue. But it's a big country, isn't it?
It is quite big. 300
odd million population. I know there's countries with more population, but it is, like, especially compared to the UK.
Yeah.
Massive. There's 50 states in there. It's massive.
They're like their own little countries.
Yeah, we've actually done videos on how big it is from Lawrence. So
yeah.
He's contradicting himself here.
Let's see what he says. He's being optimistic.
Optimistic saying it's small?
I don't know.
Smash like button, guys. Smash that subscribe button. I knew what you meant. It's a different point of view.
Yeah.
Smash that subscribe button. I think I said that already, like twice. We've just done 300, haven't we? And recorded a few videos, so we may be flagging a little bit, but we are getting this video for you legends. 300 will be on Patreon tonight, won't it?
Yes.
I'll be slaving away after tonight to get it up. It's not.
Slaving away. It's unedited.
I know it doesn't get edited.
It
just
count.
goes on Patreon.
You can't try that one with me tonight.
It just goes on Patreon. I don't have to do anything really. I just need to quickly put it together and put it on. So that'll be on Patreon tonight. If you've got the movie,
see what I got up with.
I know. If you've got the movie, check out Patreon and watch along with us. We'd really appreciate it. It'll be on the movie channel in about 12 to 13 days. I don't know how exactly, but we'll upload it every 3 days.
In between, so we need to see when it.
Yeah, Forrest Gump the other day, Band of Brothers tomorrow, Liar Liar on Saturday, and then a Band of Brothers, and then 300.
Yeah. That's
what it's every 3 days, so you can do the math. Are you ready to check out what if I told you America's a small country?
Yes.
Check out Launch as well, but wait till after this video, as always. You ready to get into it?
Yes, yes.
Let's go, what we got?
The studio is coming on, but I had to give up for the rest of the day because I accidentally put my foot in paint. Yeah. Hello, this video is sponsored by BritBox, the premier streaming service for Britain's most beloved TV shows. I'm Lawrence Brown, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond.
Except in paint.
And one of those memos pertains to size, specifically the size of our countries. Speaking of size, I'd love to one day reach 1 million subscribers, so if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, do that now.
Subscribe.
Just recently, I was doing some of the never-ending chores around the house when I started to think about maps. Now, don't worry, this is just something that happens to me from time to time. For instance, I might be having a shower and out of nowhere, I'll suddenly think something like, oh, the US state of Virginia looks exactly like an Imperial Star Destroyer slightly. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Lawrence, why would a British person care about the shape of US states? And the answer to that is twofold. Number one, I am in fact a US citizen these days.
It is true.
And number two, I've no idea. What I do know is that it all started a long time ago in a country far, far away.
That's a Star Wars reference, by the way.
Long-time fans, dare we even say die-hard fans of this channel will know that as a kid, I was absolutely obsessed with A, maps, and B, maps of the United States. Yep. Yes. You've all heard the story about how I accidentally stole this book from my English school library when I was about 12. What you haven't heard is that there was in fact another book that I read just as obsessively at about the same age, and that book is the Picture Atlas of the World. And as a kid, it was a very good way to learn all of the world capitals. But there was one country that piqued my interest more than any other, and that was the micronation of Tuvalu. But also the United States of America. And my interest in the US was so palpable at the time that I even came up with an order in which I'd visit all of the 50 states. And I do remember thinking, as a lot of British people tend to do, that, oh, look at that. We could do that in a day. America can't be that massive. And actually, as I sit here looking at this book for the first time in 30 years, I realised that young Lawrence was completely and utterly a little bit stupid, but not entirely. I mean, sure, there might be 11 states larger than the UK. The Great Lakes combined might be able to say the same, and it might take 2 whole days to drive from San Francisco to New York without stopping. But as a kid who just saw shapes on a page, I didn't have any sense for any of this. And under the right context, neither do I, the human version of Lawrence. Let me explain. Yes, America is massive, and it can take 100 million years just to drive through one state. But sometimes there are cheat codes for these things.
Yeah.
Okay.
For instance, about 20 years ago, I did get to visit the state of Maine, but this was all part of a whirlwind vacation in which I started in New York City. But once we'd seen that big statue with the book and the torch...
This is one of the... I mean, I do it all the time where we should just wait. But it did look... You know what? High five, because what you've done is you've identified a city. You nailed it.
Well, yeah, because I was thinking in my head, that looks like New York.
Yeah. And you said that.
Yeah, the yellow cabs. My head should have just told me you're stupid.
Are
it's
yellow
not
cabs
me.
only in New York though, or is it all over America? It's
I
such
feel
an
like they're
American
just in
thing.
New York.
You reckon? Let us know. We've never.
Well, not just in New York, but I feel like they are predominantly in New York.
I don't know. I reckon, but like a
I
taxi
think
in
California.
in Maine. Do you think a blue taxi
No.
rocks up?
No. They're all over because in Home Alone they get in a yellow taxi.
A taxi. Is
Oh
it?
no, wait, that's Home Alone. You lost in New York.
Let us know in the comments. Like in Maine,
I feel like they're just.
if you phone up a taxi in Maine, you're going down. You're
just
going
getting
somewhere.
a black cab.
Is it just a not? I suppose there is normal taxis as well, but is there a lot of the yellow
No, I think
standard
yellow
ones?
is New Yorkie.
Because there's normal ones in New York as well.
Yeah, but we've not got none yellows.
But we did go in yellow.
No, we've not.
Oh yeah, we've got no yellows here. But maybe the
We
odd
did
one.
get in a yellow cab. I felt very famous.
Someone may have painted their car yellow, but there's no like specific yellow. There is yellow cabs though.
What?
There's a taxi company called Yellow Cabs
Oh.
over here. Now that is
was-
confusing.
I
Yeah, but-
thought you were just telling me that there was yellow cabs in New York. I was like, well, yeah, genius.
No, there's a company over here called
There is
Yellow Cabs.
There's no yellow cabs.
They're not yellow.
There's no yellow though.
That's confusing.
Uh,
Sorry, a bit of a tangent.
Statue of Liberty. My girlfriend suggested, why don't we go up to the
Oh,
state of Maine?
girlfriend?
Because that's where I'm from.
Why?
You can meet my family. That was daunting.
Oh,
My only question
is
at
it
the time
also
was,
then?
excitedly, how many states do we pass through on the way? New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. That makes 5. 5 states. Wow, that's going to take ages. When you said let's go up there, you do mean by plane, right? Wrong. We're going to catch Greyhound. And while I never want to take Greyhound again, credit where credit's due, the bus journey took nowhere near the 48 hours that I predicted in my stupid little head. It was actually something like 5 hours, an
Okay.
hour in each state. Because one of the cheat codes that America has is the East Coast. Because a lot of those states are quite small, certainly smaller than some of those that you'd encounter west of the Mississippi. And so with this being my first grown-up experience of America, it reinforced this idea that you could see the whole country in a day. I've now lived here for 15 years. I've since learned that if you took the Grand Canyon and put it in England, you could stretch it all the way from Brighton to Liverpool. But that doesn't stop
Wow.
this really jarring feeling that you get when
That's
you
quite
drive
mad.
through multiple states in 5 minutes. Another example that happened to me just 2 years ago when I visited Pennsylvania for the first time. My wife and I spent hours and hours and hours and hours of car time driving through the state of Pennsylvania before arriving in Philadelphia. But just toward
Okay.
the end of this vacation, we made a little detour to go and see some friends in Baltimore. And I was really excited about this because I'd get to check off an entirely new state that I'd never visited before. Not Maryland, Delaware. That's right, as we're driving along, oh, look at that. Welcome to Delaware. Just to make it official, we stopped off in
I love a
Wilmington.
Delaware fact. I always pulls out. It's all like one of the first facts I ever learned. It's the only state without an airport.
Yeah, hold on.
There you go. Yeah. It's also small.
Hopped back in the car, got on the road,
You made me laugh.
and within what seemed like 20 seconds, but was probably 15 minutes, we then saw a sign that said, "Welcome to Maryland. Bye, Delaware. See you later." And you're probably watching this and thinking, yeah, that is a cheat code, Lawrence. Everybody knows that the states up in that eastern corridor are much smaller. Is that all you've got? No. Of course it's not. I'm British. I come from a long line of people whose detective work requires multiple sources of evidence and catchphrases. But it doesn't take a detective to work out that the best British detectives are on BritBox. Whether it's Idris
Oh, that was
Elba as
good.
Luther
Good.
in the highly acclaimed
You want-
series of the
If you want to
same...
check the ad out, check it out. We will skip it, but check out Launch's channel. Link in description.
I got one word for you. Panhandles, right? That is one word.
Ooh, we've learned about these.
Panhandles.
Yeah.
And my
Florida
British
has one.
audience is probably thinking, why is he talking about kitchen implements? I'm not. America has this phenomenon just built into its geography called panhandles,
Yeah, you
right?
cut
That's when
across
you
them.
have a strip of land within a state's border that's shaped
Florida.
somewhat like a
Genius.
panhandle.
Florida.
And they're really long and protruding, and you're probably thinking, if they're really long and protruding, doesn't that sort of undermine the premise of this video? And I can see where you're coming from with that hypothetical question, but my actual answer is just good. Because it's not about the length of the panhandle, and that's not a euphemism.
the width.
It's about the width. Because these panhandles are quite sleek, you might find yourselves enacting the panhandle cheat code, in which you drive through multiple states in a very short amount of time. This is something that happened to me in Idaho.
Okay.
Actually, let me rephrase that. It half happened to me in Idaho, and the other half occurred in a dream sequence that never came to fruition. Basically, even though those states that are west of the Mississippi are absolutely gigantic, there is a route that means that your vehicle could be in the state of Washington, Idaho, and Montana within the short space of an hour and a
Wow.
half. The
Wow.
Montana part was the dream sequence. I never got there. And that might not seem too weird for those of you who know how Idaho is shaped, but I take that as valid. A weirder one for me, which my head just can't wrap its head around is further south, right? Texas, famously the second
Thing
largest
is,
state in...
I'm not having this video because although yes, you can go through 3 states, you're not actually going through them properly. You're going through the tiniest bit of
it's
them.
like for me. So for me, this is the same as we're getting on a flight from Gatwick to Florida.
Yeah.
And we're stopping in New York. You cannot claim you've seen New York City. You have stopped there. You cannot claim that as a state that you've been to.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, no, I don't.
No, so you're about to say that they can't claim they've been there because they've only driven through it.
No, not a bit. They can't claim that the country's small.
Oh.
Because
I went off on one. I thought you was going off on the same one as me.
I kind of meant that because I can't say they've properly been all the way through.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You've sat at the airport at JFK. You have not been to New York. I hate it when people... This is where me going on a little rant. When people post about it, just stopped in New York City for 4 hours in the airport. You have not been.
Who posts
I
this?
don't know, but anyway, back to the facts.
Well, you just have some pent up anger you need to get. If you watch 300 and you
wind me up.
You build up some pent up anger
Anyway,
from 300.
what were you going with?
Kind of the same. You can't say you've been in a state, but you can't say you've been through the whole state because you picked the smallest section.
Yeah, because you're not driven from across.
You can't say Montana's tiny because you picked the tiny section. You know what I mean?
No, that's cheating.
You just picked the tiny bit. I think Lawrence is clutching it.
That's like me saying England's tiny and then driving up from like Plymouth to the Bristol. Like
because Jersey's tiny.
Like, Plymouth to Bristol. You know what I mean? Like that tiny little bit.
Yeah.
The edge of England.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because one end to the other, north to south, because it goes like that.
Yeah. So you go bit by Wales.
Just that tiny bit. Bit by Wales. We just went on a tangent again. Sorry, guys.
Anyway, don't be like that.
You're driving through it. Let's say from Houston all the way up into the Texas Panhandle. The Texas Panhandle is notable for being a large rectangle consisting of many smaller rectangles. What could be more American than that? But you're driving along the second biggest state in America, and it just seems to take forever. But then you end up in the small town of Stratford, Texas. And this is a quite delicious place to be because you find yourself about to take advantage of the absolute mother of panhandle warp whistles. But that warp whistle isn't the Texas Panhandle, it is the much coveted Oklahoma Panhandle.
Okay.
Basically, from Stratford, Texas, there is a route to Elkhart, Kansas that magically takes you through 5 massive states in about 3 hours.
Yeah,
Texas, New Mexico,
You're
Oklahoma.
barely going into that state, aren't you?
What? That
is a bit cheating, I think. I don't know about that.
You've got a route, and you could just go straight up here.
Yeah, you're just being different.
But he's going just to say, this is only a good thing if you're trying to kick off states.
Yeah, because if you've got like them scratch maps saying you've been... Oh, yeah.
I've been to New Mexico.
Vegas. Is this Nevada?
I think it said New Mexico before, didn't it?
Why is Las Vegas in it?
Oh, maybe it is. Oh, no, Las Vegas is said. Let's zoom out. It did zoom out. It's a little bit, New Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah, you are not scratching off. I don't know, I'm looking there.
we ain't got
You're
one.
not scratching off Kansas or New Mexico. Go back again. You might get Colorado a little
5
bit.
massive states.
You can get. I'll let you have Colorado.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like you could just go straight up and you'd get there also a lot quicker.
This is only good for exactly what you said. If you've got a scratch map and you're like, I want to scratch it
You're
off.
definitely not having New Mexico because you've gone out of it into it just for the sake of it.
Literally. In about 3 hours. Texas,
3 hours
New
as
Mexico,
well for that diversion.
Oklahoma, Colorado, and Kansas.
No.
So
No
who
nuance.
says the West is big? And in hindsight,
Lawrence
I bet
Martin.
Thelma and Louise are kicking themselves for not checking that off their list. And finally, one other cheat code that makes America seem like a country that you could visit in one day pertains to circles. And I can hear you right now. Lawrence, you previously told us that America is entirely made up of rectangles and that there can be no deviation from this system. Well, yeah, but that's why these are cheat codes. One pretty famous cheat code that involves circles can be found at the center of 4 states: Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. Because at that very spot, there's a tourist intersection
that's pretty cool.
in which the borders of all 4 states meet and you can run a circle around it in a matter of seconds. Cool. That's the gimmicky one. My favourite
Give
one
us a
is
gimmick
located
as
a
well.
bit
Yeah, I'm
closer
having
to
them.
where I live. This is what I call the pinwheel state. That's where you start in Cairo, yes, Cairo, Illinois. Drive down to Blytheville, Arkansas, taking in Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, and Arkansas, all within the space of 2.5 hours or half an hour per state. Not sure
At
there
least
are
I
too
didn't seen the longest route.
Spots along that route, but if you are willing to add another hour to your journey, you could visit the place where Kentucky gets separated from the rest of Kentucky. Anyway, I hope that this video was helpful to anybody else that is in the niche business of racking up states as quickly as possible. Of course,
yeah, if you want to rack up states, it's really helpful, but if you want to claim it's small, then you're lying.
Definitely. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe. We rambled on a lot on this one.
I think we've just fallen out of Lawrence.
I get what he's going with. He's making a fun video, isn't it?
It's just
but, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to check out the Beesley's movie channel. Forrest Gump out the other day. 300 will be out in about 12 days. Lily's coming out soon. Band of Brothers tomorrow. Lili will be in 7 days today. A week today. Said go and check it out. Subscribe in the description. Check out Launch as well. Check his ad out.
Yeah, we love him, really.
He did have an ad. We do love him, really. And what should we do?
Have a fantastic day.
And we will see you legends in the next one. Peace.